So, what's been going on? What do you got going on in your world right now? We're talking before the show. You got a new podcast and things going on.
Yeah, just launched episode 1 of the new podcast. We had Mo Egger on. Uh, it'll be Tuesday, and then next week it'll be every Tuesday morning. We talked a little bit about the Reds with Mo Egger, and then I'll have my new co-host coming on next Tuesday. We'll have a guest then too. So, yeah, we're getting started with that. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's cool. Now, last time I had you on here, we were talking Bengals and talking the draft, and that's more of what you're known for. But I know you're a big Reds fan, and we just got done with the All-Star game, and you're telling me you didn't watch the All-Star game. You're not a big All-Star fan, huh?
No, not really. I don't like those All-Star games really for any sport. I mean, they're cool. They just don't really have much meaning, so I
Yeah.
don't really care to watch. I saw what Winker and Castellanos did. I kept track of that, but other than that, I wasn't
Yeah.
too interested.
Well, it's funny. It's like it seems like the last couple of years when we do get starters or we get guys who actually get into the All-Star game, they never do anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. What's that?
I said big walk for Winker.
Yeah, no, he got a big walk, and I'm like, all right, let's get something going. Then the next guy grounds out, like, God, crap. Now, unfortunately, the AL beat the NL for the 8th straight freaking time. It's ridiculous. Now, see me, I'm an old school baseball fan, and I always root for the NL because that's where the Reds are at. And to me, the All-Star game is actually one of the more interesting All-Star games to watch because it's the closest to me as to a real game. Now, the NBA used to be close to a real game. I think back in like the 90s when Jordan was there and Magic and Bird and all those guys, they actually cared. But I have a hard time watching any other All-Star game, especially the Pro Bowl. That is that is absolutely boring. But the Major League Baseball All-Star game is one of my favorites to watch. But let's get into some Reds talk here. I'm gonna try something new. It's called screen sharing. We'll see how I do this. And with a whole 8 people watching this, Blake. So I mean, we are rolling with the audience right now. It's middle of summer. Nobody's like pay attention. Sports isn't going on. So we'll see how this goes. But I got this from SB Nation. It's a second half questions for the Cincinnati Reds. And I think this is a pretty cool article you guys can check out. Like I said, it's on SB Nation. But the one big thing that I noticed down here, it says physical therapy for the bullpen. They're talking about bringing back Michael Lorenzen. And it says Michael Lorenzen is very, very close. In fact, if the Reds are playing this week and not resting, there's probably a decent chance he would have been activated earlier. Instead, he's stuck in AAA Louisville to stay ready over the break and may be activated before the Reds take the field. Now, he tweeted out on, was it last week? Friday, Thursday, like right before the All-Star break. Where's that? Here it is. That he plans on being back on Friday. There it is. So how big a thing do you think this is for the Reds to get Lorenzen back?
So I want to start off by saying I cover the Bengals. My work is related to the Bengals. I'm just a Reds fan, so my perspective's a little different than what I have for the Bengals.
Yeah, you're just talking as a fan right now.
Yeah, this is as a fan right here.
Yeah, and exactly.
I think getting Lorenzen back is big. Obviously, I think when they get Sims and Antone back, and then I also think that Amir Garrett is going to pick it up. Hopefully, get back to his old self.
Well, he's looked pretty good the last couple times in Milwaukee. So that was.
He gave up that home run. I forget what game it was, but that's going to happen.
Yeah.
To anybody, and so I think with Garrett, Sims, Antone, Lorenzen, Warren's been pitching well, I believe.
Osage has been pitching pretty good. Yeah.
Brad Brock has had his.
Dude, man, Brad Brock's arm's gonna fall off because he keeps bringing him in.
And then,
Santillan.
From I think that they're in better shape than they were, but it's not. They still have stuff to do. Like you can't just rely on Lorenzen coming back and being, an ace out of the bullpen. You have to go get, other arms from other teams, and you got to try to work that. So I think getting these guys back is good. Like it's what you want. It's going to help, but it's not end game. You can't just rely on that for the rest of the year. You're going to have to, move some other pieces around to fix that bullpen for the rest of the year, which has been their biggest issue. So I think that
exactly.
So I think that getting these guys back helps, but it's not enough.
Right. No, I agree. Now we talk about having Sims and Anton back, and that's gonna be huge when they come back. But right now, they're not even rehabbing right now. That's a problem. So I don't know when there's no timetable for them to come back. But if you can get those two back and they're pitching like they were before, and Michael Lorenzen and hopefully Garrett is back to normal. And let's see, I was kind of surprised. Cincinnati, they brought him back up, but he didn't even see the field in Milwaukee, which I guess he's going to be used more as a long reliever, I'm assuming. But I just thought maybe they might get him in there just to give some of these other guys a break. But I'm thinking out loud in my head here. The break, they're in it right now, so they're going to get 4 days off. So maybe that was David Bell's thinking of letting them, pitch. So, but it's going to be a fun second half for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've always paid attention to the Reds. This is like the first year I've been real deep into the Reds. I've always watched them, always been a fan. This year I've kind of, tried more to, pay attention to what they're doing and everything. But as far as I can remember, this is, in the last, 5 to 10 years, I'm sure there's been bigger series, but this series coming up on Fridays, one of the biggest series I can remember since I've been a fan, which has been, 21 years. So, I think this 3 games against the Brewers is going to be absolutely huge.
Oh, it's enormous. And like we were talking about before the show, if they were to sweep them, knock on wood, they'll be within 1 game out of first place. Now, the other question mark we have here is, get back to this article from SB Nation, is will we see the real Eugenio Suarez? Now, this is what is the scary part. If you go down here, this is his slump, which they keep calling him a slump, but he's been hit like this since last year. He's hit $125, 232, and also 292 against left-handed pitchers in 82 appearances this season. That has, for my money, has got to change. And the question for me, Blake, is when Moose comes back, which hopefully he'll be back sometime. He's still in a boot. But when he comes back, are they going to do you think they're going to put Gino at shortstop again? I really don't want them to do that.
No, I don't know what they'll do with him. I don't want him to play shortstop. I would consider moving to India to shortstop. I don't really know how well that would work out, but maybe,
See, me, I'm the opposite. I would leave India alone.
Really?
He's playing so good. He's playing good. I would leave him alone. I wouldn't touch that dude right now.
I think that my reason is I would try India moving to this point that, Suarez had a tough year, fielding well and hitting. But, I think that, but the thing with Suarez too is if he can get back to how he was, at his peak, him, Winker, and Castellanos is very scary. So,
oh yeah,
if he can come back from that and play like that again, which I don't really know if that'll happen, but if he can, that'll just be incredible TV.
I love the top of the lineup right now. Yeah. You go top 4 with the way Vado's hitting too, with India, Winker, Castellanos, and Vado. Those guys are killing it right now. Vado, I love his approach right now. And the thing is, it's nice for Vado that he finally has help. Up until last year, the 6 years before that, he was it. There wasn't really anybody else on the team, to be quite honest, that was really helping out. Now he's got India top of the order and Winker and Castellanos. And so to me, I'm excited about Vado and how the approach that he's taking this year. He said this, and I've said this on my show before. He goes, I'm getting older. I can't do everything I did before. So he's taking the lesser of the two evils. He's trying to damage the baseball, is quoting him. And I think he's done a very, very good job of it this year, because The Reds, honestly, with this offense, don't need him to do all the stuff that he did before. We have other guys that can pick up the slack.
Yeah, and I think the interesting question with Votto to me is I don't think that, aside from which I do like if they move Stevenson to first, because I mean Votto's playing good. The end is not that far off for when the Reds are going to be needing a first baseman. And aside from Stevenson moving to first, it doesn't seem like they're that prepared for that. And Votto's going to be around with that contract. He's not going to be, gone at the end of the season or anything.
Yeah, I think he's got like 3 more years on that contract.
Yeah, but it's just looking through the whole roster down in the minor leagues. They haven't done a whole lot to prepare for what comes after Joey Votto.
Right.
And to me, that's like I can see them being big-time buyers at the deadline because they built the team to win this year. And, even with what the bullpen's done, they're 4 games back right now going into the series with the leaders of the division. And they're right in it. All they need is some help. So I think that they're going to go all in on this season. I think they'll make some moves at the deadline.
I think they're going to have to. I mean, and one thing is, I don't even think they need to do, like, we're talking about shortstop here. I don't think they're going to address the shortstop position. I could see them addressing the bigger need is the bullpen, but that also depends on if we get TJ Anton back and we get Lucas Sims. So they're going to be hedging their bets, I think, to see if those guys come back and are healthy to decide what they're going to give up. Because, I mean, everybody's going to want Nick Lodolo or Hunter Green from us. And the Reds are not giving up those guys. So that's going to be the thing is what do the Reds have that people want to give up a legit reliever? And the only one I can really think of right now is Alejo Lopez, the kid that just brought up, which I really would not like to get rid of because I kind of had this thought is in the offseason, because the offseason is going to be interesting for me. That's the thing they got to think about too when they're making these trades. Are you going to keep Nick Castellanos? Because he's got that option. Are they going to buy it out or are they going to try to sign him to a new contract? What's going on? You got Eugenio Suarez. He's a third baseman. He's not a shortstop. You got Moose. You got India at second. India's not moving, I don't think. You got Jose Barreta, who was Jose Garcia last year. He's coming up. He hit a home run in the Futures All-Star game. He's probably our shortstop next year. So you've got, if you keep Alejo Lopez, if you don't trade him, you got 3 guys at third base next year. I mean, I'm not saying Alejo Lopez is going to beat out Moose or Gino, but the question is, do they want to take the money? If they take the money from Gino and Moose and add it toward Nick Castellanos, is that a move they might be thinking about? And that's stuff that I think they have to think about as far as trade deadline stuff, because what they do now is going to affect them in the offseason.
Yeah, and to start off with like Jose Barrero, I think that, next year, and me and Mo Egger were talking about this, the likelihood of the NL having a DH next year is pretty high.
Yes.
So, you think you could have Votto at DH, try Moose out at first, Indy at second, Barrero at short, and Suarez at third. And that could be your infield. That's a pretty solid infield next year.
That sounds awesome.
But in terms of people who they could trade now, pains me to say it, he's one of my favorite players, but Aquino, maybe there's a team out there that wants a bat like that. Tyler Naquin has been playing good. You got it. I think.
See, people say Tyler Naquin. Naquin is on a 1-year contract. They don't have him signed past this, so I don't see, because there's another guy on that's commenting on the show saying the same thing. They're not going to. If they're going to trade, in my opinion, anyway, teams that are going to trade a good reliever want a guy they have control for a while, and they want a younger. So Naquin, they just have him for the rest of this year. So I don't really think he's a viable option, but I do think Aquino is, and I kind of think Shogo might be, but Shogo's got to show he can hit. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but keep going.
Yeah, I was just saying that, with Naquin playing the way he is, I know it would have an effect, long term, but what about Nick Senzel as well? They picked him second overall. There's going to be, he's controllable. He's 26 years old. There's going to be a market for that. And you're not going to the thing that people think they talk about when wanting to trade for bullpen arms, they want to trade like people like Mike Freeman or Kyle Farmer. Well,
right?
You
yeah.
can't just trade the low end. You're gonna have to trade somebody.
Right. Exactly. Here's a bucket of balls. Give me your best reliever.
Yeah, and I think Senzel should be talked about in that conversation, just because you have Tyler Naquin, you have Shogo, you got 2 center fielders, and then you can see about getting a younger center fielder, in the offseason. So I think trading Nick Senzel for a good bullpen arm for this season is something that should be on the table. And a name I brought up to Mo the other day was, and he had value or very good points of why it wouldn't be the best. But I also think for a bullpen arm with how well Tyler Stevenson's been playing, and go with the younger guy.
Ooh, that would hurt.
But
yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I thing is, that's the point though. If the Reds are going to go all in, and I talk about this with Lance on my show, you can't pick the year that it's all going to work out and you are going to have a shot at being in the playoffs. Are you willing to mortgage the farm, the future, to try to win now? And I've always said yes, because you don't know what next year is going to bring. Now you bring up Tyler Stevenson. That would be really, that would hurt to trade him. But yes, that would be a guy that could get us probably some pretty good relief pitchers. Nick Senzel, you brought him up, and yeah, I agree he would, but again, with his injury history, and again, he's on the disabled list right now. To me, for him to be a viable trade piece in time for the trade deadline, he's got to get healthy, and then he's got to show he can play. Again, because I mean, everybody's going to trade for him if he isn't playing good or if he's not healthy. So that's one that I think is going to be difficult to trade. But Tyler Stevenson, yeah, that would be a piece.
I would trade Tucker Barnhart. I meant.
You trade Tucker Barnhart?
Yeah, I said trade Barnhart and let Stevenson take over the younger guy, because I think Tyler Stevenson's going to be an all-star eventually. He's going to be really good. I would say see if anyone wants Tucker Barnhart, and then let Stevenson take over that.
Well, you got to look at Tucker Barnhart's contract, and see that's the thing when you're doing these trades like this, you got to look at what the other team wants. The other team wants controllable guys for multiple years, and Tucker would not fit into that. I think he's got 1, maybe 2 years on his contract. Now, Tyler Stevenson, on the other hand, that would be the guy that would be more of what they're looking for. I mean, he's a rookie. He's controllable for the next 6-7 years. That's the kind of guys that they would be looking for. I think anyway. If you're trading for it's kind of like last year when they traded with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They traded he's their starting second baseman now, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He was a really good player. What's that?
Van Meter.
Yes. Thank you. Van Meter.
Yeah.
Yes. They traded him last year, and he was in his second year, and he's controllable for them for the next 5 years. And then we got Archie Bradley out of it, and then we decided not to pick up his option, which didn't make any sense to me. But that to me is the pieces that you have to be willing to give up. That's what they're going to want. I don't see Tucker Barnhart being. I don't see another team going, yeah, I'll give you, my best reliever for Tucker Barnhart, who's going to, be a free agent or be in, arbitration eligible and cost me a lot of money. Most of these teams want younger guys that are cheap and controllable. So again, not to cut you down, but I just don't see Tucker Barnhart being one of the guys that they would be able to trade, But I do love your idea with the DH next year, and I do agree with you that I was surprised they didn't do the DH this year. I do agree with you that they could do the DH next year. And I mean, honestly, the way Gino's been playing defense, I might make him the DH, to be honest, put Moose at third and Votto at first. But either way, that'd be cool. And there's so many guys that they could put there. I mean, you could put Jesse Winker there, and you put Senzel in the outfield. I mean, there's a lot with the DH would really help the Reds a ton because they have the Reds honestly have so much talent in so many places except for shortstop and in the bullpen. Those are the two things. So we got lots of talent in lots of places. It's just it's kind of weird that it's just how many outfielders we got? We got what, 7 outfielders that probably are major league outfielders, and we got 3 third basemen. I mean, 4 second basemen. We got a ton we got no shortstops, and we got 1 first baseman. So it's just kind of ironic of how this all works out with the Reds and their rebuild. But this let's get back to this article here. But this weekend is going to be a lot of fun, I think. To watch them be in this race and to see how they act coming out of the break. Because I told you off the air, I was kind of worried. Kind of wish they would have kept playing. I wish the All-Star break wasn't here because they're playing so good. So it's going to be huge if they can go in and they win 2 out of 3 or they sweep all 3 of them. Here in a couple weeks, we could be in first place all by ourselves.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Like I said, I'm a little worried about the first series just because coming off the All-Star break. But it could also affect the Brewers. It's not just like
Right.
Reds.
Well, it's just like, I mean, the one thing amazing happened is they beat Hader twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Gino got him for a home run. Now, this is something that somebody brought up on the show, I think it was Monday. And Gino got drilled. And some people commented on my show here saying that they thought it was intentional. And to be honest, I was watching the game, but like I said, I was watching it on my phone because I was at my parents' house. We were having family dinner. So I didn't get I saw him get hit. I didn't get to really see all the reaction afterwards or not. I don't know if you got to see it or not. But do you think could be any blowback from the Reds going after the I call them the boozers this weekend?
No, I don't really see that happening. I think, Hader did it if it was intentional, and the Reds got him twice. So, I mean, why would you throw it them when you already got the guy 2 times? I mean,
right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And one of my loyal viewers here, Crown Up a Kid, he said he made a good statement. He said, don't throw out. He goes, just don't beat him up on the field. Just beat him in the game, and that's going to be even worse. Because if you get in a brawl, somebody's getting suspended or somebody could get hurt. It's just silly. Like, just if Hader got pissed off that Gino got him, well, then he should have struck him out.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of throwing at people anyway. I think that, it's hitters too, but I think all these unwritten rules and these pitchers getting mad. It's like, a guy hit a home run and you're going to get mad. You're going to throw a ball 100 miles an hour at his head. Well,
right.
How about you don't give up the home run?
Right.
Like, that's strike
exactly
him out if you're going to get mad. Like, if I had a home run in the major leagues, I'd probably pimp it a little bit too.
Right. Oh, dude, if I could hit a home run, heck yeah, I'd be bat flipping and everything.
Yeah.
That is one more thing on this article here. Then we'll get to the Bengals here. It says, will Shogo get his chance? 100 games as a big leader and the most homer-happy go-go era in sports history, and Shogo Akiyama has not hit a home run in 100 games with 277 at-bats and is slugging 286. That's the line with 275 mark put up by the Mets' Jacob deGrom, and in 254 at-bats dating back to 2017. Now, Shogo has gotten off to a rough start this year, I think. Yeah, he started out getting injured, and then Naquin, like we've talked about here on the show today, has just taken off and had a great season. And Shogo, I think, is a guy that's used to playing every day. In Japan, he was their starting center fielder, and he was a star over there. And I don't know if he's ever going to. I won't say ever. But I don't know if this year, if he's going to get enough at bats to really get going like he did last year, like toward the end of the year, like he did last year. What are your thoughts on Shogo?
Well, first of all, what's the name of the guy? I can't remember his name. He's back in the minors. He was batting like .075 with the Reds. just a couple weeks ago.
An outfielder?
Yeah.
Hanson.
Is that who it was?
I think so. He's the one that yeah, he's the left-hander that David Bell kept starting over Shogo. Yeah, well, I think that's his name.
If you're Shogo and Senzel gets hurt and you can't play ahead of that guy, you're probably not going to get your turn.
Right.
I mean, I don't care about matchups. That guy, if Shogo should have been playing over him. And if he's not, you're probably not going to get your chance.
Well, that's the thing. If you notice, since they set him down, Shogo has gotten more at bats here lately. So I will give David Bell credit for that. But yeah, and unfortunately, Shogo hasn't capitalized on his opportunities right now. But again, I think it's hard for him. Because he's never not played. He's always played. So when you're used to being a starter and you don't play all the time, it's really. I mean, I was listening to I don't know if you know I know you know who Sean Casey is, right? You know who Sean Casey is, right? Okay. Sean Casey has his own podcast now called The Mayor's Office, and I was listening to that the other day, and he's got Todd Walker on there, another former Red and former teammate. And Todd Walker was talking about the hardest thing in the world to do is to pinch it. He said it's hard to hit a baseball as it is, but to come off and pinch hit. And Shogo Akiyama, I think, is David Bell's number one pinch hitter. I think he's pinch hit more than anybody on the team this year. And I don't know. I wish I knew what his average was or how he was doing as far as pinch hitting, but I don't think it's very good. But at least Shogo's gotten some more opportunities here lately. We'll see how the second half takes off for him. And who knows? I mean, if you remember last year when the Reds won the 7 consecutive series, Shogo was at the top of the lineup and he was raking.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening this year because I think Naquin is having too good of a year. And India's leading off and doing good, so it's a different year and a different team. So I'm not sure if that's gonna happen for Shogo this year.
Yeah, and I think that you got to keep Naquin out there, and then if you hold on to Senzel when he gets back, see what he does. And I think that there could be in the future a need for center field depending on what Senzel does, but as of right now, if Shogo were gone, if he weren't on the team right now, you're still in good shape at center field. So I think that to me is just kind of telling what to do with him if he's not. I mean, getting more chances would be nice for him, but I think they would be fine without him, and he's just on the roster, which is I think they overpaid him a little bit, so that could hurt some. But
I think I was reading. I didn't get to read the whole article. But Shogo Ohtani, the Reds were in the mix for getting Ohtani. And they didn't get him, so then they turned around and got Shogo. So I think that might be maybe one of the reasons they got him. I don't know. Orange Arrow, what's going on, man? And if you haven't checked out Orange Arrow, he's got his own podcast and YouTube channel as well. So make sure you guys check him out. Now let's get to some Bengals talk here. Some more stuff up your alley you can tweet about. Now this is from Bengals Wire. Now, this is their Cincinnati Bengals camp roster preview. Of course, you got Jackpot Joey Burrow, who we all cannot wait to see play in the very first game. Now, here's a depth chart, which I don't know if anybody cares about the depth chart of the quarterbacks. We know Brandon Allen's the backup. Hopefully, none of these guys ever play except for Joe Burrow. But Burrow's knee. Where are you at on Joe Burrow's knee? There, like how confident are you he's going to be ready a full go at training camp?
I don't think he'll be full go at training camp, and not because his knee's holding him back. I think they'll just be taking precautions. I think he'll be 100% for the first game. Going into preseason, I really hope he doesn't play during the preseason.
Dude, I'm the same way. I was saying the same thing, but dude, I would not put it past him.
Yeah.
I could totally see because he said it. He goes, "It would be nice to get in there, knock the rust off, take a hit." I'm like, dude, it's preseason. But I understand what he's talking about, though. It'd be nice to just get it out of the way so he doesn't have to do it the first game. But, last year, he played his very first game, in the regular season.
Yes, I'd maybe give him a drive or something just to start a game off. I don't really think there's much reason for him to be out there running around because in preseason you're going against guys they got a lot of money on the line. They're trying to make rosters. They're going to be going as hard as they can. Get him in the first drive when all the established players are playing. They're maybe not going as hard, and let it go from there. Try to keep them safe.
So just going into this season, I've said this before that I think the part of the team that really this season the success or failure of this team falls on, in my opinion, is the defense. I'm pretty sure the offense is going to be really good. I'm pretty sure the offensive line is going to be, I won't say fine, but it's going to be a lot better than it was last year. I think it's going to be better than what people think it's going to be, but that's my own just little orange glasses opinion. But I think this whole season really hinges on the defense and how they can stop the run and how they can get after the quarterback. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you said it. I mean, getting after the quarterback is going to be the biggest thing for this defense by a big margin. I think they struggle. They're way down in the dumps in sack numbers. And you lose Carl Lawson. And the secondary, I think, is going to be better. You'll have Trey Waynes back. Didn't have him last year. Mike Hilton, in my opinion, is a top 2 slot corner in the league. I'm a big fan of Awuzie. I think that
Chidway. Yep.
I would say that I think I said this at the time, but getting Awuzie and Hilton for the same price as just William Jackson is fantastic business. Because in my opinion, Awuzie, Williamson, he's a little below, but he's younger, and Hilton is an upgrade over Mackenzie Alexander. So with those two guys for the price of William Jackson, that's awesome. But getting to the defensive line, I think the secondary is going to be better. You're going to have Jesse Bates being Jesse Bates. He'll be good. Von Bell's pretty solid. I like that they have him a lot. I think, hoping that Trey Hendrickson can keep up production without, a dominant guy on the other side. That's going to be a big question. Keeping DJ Reader healthy. Seeing what else they can get from the inside. I think that Joseph Asai is going to have a pretty good rookie year. He was just a monster at Texas.
I like him, and I a steal is one of the steals of the draft for us, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Sample's going to get some snaps this year. He's kind of a Carl Lawson type player. He's not going to get a lot of sacks, but he's going to get pressure. So that's kind of what Hendrickson needs. Henderson's going to need somebody that can complement him on the other side by, breaking up the pocket and letting Hendrickson run around in there and get after the quarterback. So I think that's going to be good. And you're also hoping guys like Akeem Davis-Gaither can really show up out of the linebacker position in the pass rush as well. So there's a lot of question marks, but there's a lot of guys that have the capability, but they're younger. So hopefully they can figure that out.
Hey, I'm back. Are you back? Can you hear me, Blake?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden I got knocked off.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey. Well, welcome to the internet show. That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Now, you brought some pretty good points. I want to talk about Chidobe Awuzie. Do you think, and there's been some people who have said he hasn't lived up to expectations because of injuries and stuff. Is he a guy that, in your opinion, could be a number one cornerback?
Absolutely. I like Awuzie a lot. I made the joke at the time that, on friends, he's still young. He's 26, so I think that with time that he can grow into that role. And like I just said too, he's 3 years younger than William Jackson, and you get him for half the price. So I think Awuzie is going to be a big part of this defense moving forward. I think that having Trey Waynes coming back will take some of that pressure off of him immediately. And another thing I wanted to say too is I don't think people talk enough about how big, getting someone like Eli Apple was.
Yes.
He's not
It's depth. Not to interrupt you, but it's depth. It's something that they did not have last year. Not only him, but also Allen out of Atlanta. And those guys is depth. It's more depth than they had last year.
Yeah, and I think that's something, the big thing everyone wants to talk about going into an offseason is upgrades. They want to upgrade everything. Well, when you're running Eli Apple out there instead of Sean Sims, that's a big upgrade.
Exactly.
Position upgrade that they're going to do.
Oh. All right, let's see here. Rabbit, we get to some comments here on the show. Rabbit says, I cannot wait to see him blitz and light up Mayfield. I think he's talking about Hilton. Yeah, because he said he's excited to see Mike Hilton. A lot of Bengals fans are excited to see Hilton, especially for his blitzing ability, which I'm curious how Lou handles that, because he's never, in 3 years, this will be going into his third year of being the Bengals defense coordinator. I think this is the most talented team that he's had. And I think he's got the best shot to do what he's trying to do. And I finally figured out what he's trying to do. He's trying to do the amoeba or morphing defense, whatever you want to call it, or whatever that team does best. They're trying to take that away from him. And I think he's got the best shot to do it right now with the talent he has. Blake, you still there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The thing with Lou, and I think he's gonna have some new guys. This is what he should do is just flip on, in terms of Mike Hilton, turn on some of the Steelers defensive tape the past couple of years and watch what Mike Hilton does and do that. I mean, Hilton's been, he's been great. So I think the big thing for Anarumo is going to be finding his new guy's strength, his rookie strength, the free agent signing, find what they do best and put them in position to succeed. I think that an issue that they've kind of had the past couple of years is they get these guys and they kind of they don't put them in different positions, but the defense has been, kind of, it's moved around a lot, but in the same sense, it's been very similar. He has an idea of what he wants to do, and he does that. I think he needs to play more into his player strengths, and that's going to be, blitzing Mike Hilton, letting Akeem Davis Gaither in on the pass rush a little more, giving him some more snaps, having him playing Von Bell in the box, and not putting on the tight ends a lot. So if he can do things like that and figure out these guys' strength, I think this defense can be pretty solid.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to get to Orange Arrow's question here, but then I want to get back to the linebackers here real quick. When we get to Arrow's statement here, actually, he said, I think they're trying to set things up in the cornerback room like the wide receiver room. They have no number one, but they're all solid. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because, I mean, to me, yeah, there's no number one, but, I mean, the talent-wise in the wide receiver room is way higher than the cornerback room, if you ask me. And, yeah, they don't have a number one, but, I mean, the number one's probably going to be Chase. He's probably going to be the X. But, I don't know. What do you think about that? You think they're not going to have an actual number one cornerback?
Well, I think you have to have a number one, and that goes for both positions. And I get what you mean saying that they don't have a number one, because Higgins and Chase are both very talented. I think Chase is going to be the number one. It's play calling and how it works out. You have number one. It doesn't one's a lot more talented than the other. It's just play calling. And I think, in the corner room, you're going to need that guy that can line up against, the best receivers. He can line up against Odell. He can line up against, the number one receiver for the other team and play them well. So I think that you have to have a number one, but I definitely get what you're saying, because, I mean, there's not that much of what you're saying is there's not that much of a talent difference between the number one and the number two.
Right.
which is right. It's just you're going to need to have that set guy that's going to guard their number one receiver, and you're going to need that number one receiver, in terms of play calling.
Exactly. Now let's get to the linebacking. To me, this is the one I'm not concerned about the talent in the room. I mean, I think Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis-Gaither are going to have breakout years this year. I'm worried about behind them. What if they get hurt? If they get injured, they miss. You got Pratt behind them, and Bailey behind them. Who else? Who else? Who in that linebacker room are you okay with beyond Logan Wilson and Davis-Gaither?
Well, I think that Pratt he's gonna play a good amount this year. Marcus Bailey, I'm actually pretty excited about. I think he had a couple bad plays in some games last year, but I think they got him a lot later than he should have been if it wasn't for injuries. So I think that the job's not done at linebacker. You can go out and still get that veteran guy, and I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll as we get closer to the season, they'll pick up a 30-some-year-old guy just on a cheap one-year deal that can kind of add a little bit of experience to the room and play behind some of these younger guys. So I don't think they're done at linebacker. I think they definitely need probably another addition or two.
Yeah, Chris says if they could somehow get Van Ersen, that would be awesome. Wishful thinking, though. What are your thoughts on the chances of the Bengals getting him?
I don't know the odds of them getting Leighton Van Grass. I think that he's not as he would be just due to injuries, but when he's been on the field, he's been good. So getting somebody like that would be very nice for this team, because I think that they're going to, Akeem Davis-Gaither isn't going to sit in the same, position in the whole game. You're going to need other linebackers that have other roles. I think Gaither will be more on the outside. Like I said, I wanted to see him more in the pass rush. So,
right.
I think that getting someone like Van Grass would be pretty solid. But I do think Logan Wilson will have a good year. He'll be like the main linebacker. Yeah,
I'm looking for Logan Wilson to have a great year. I mean, the Rabbit posed on here, he thinks Logan Wilson is going to have a breakout year, and I agree with him. I was very impressed with Logan Wilson last year. There's a lot of times he was in the right spot at the right time, and when the ball was thrown to him, he actually made the interception. Now, Davis-Gaither probably should have had at least 2 interceptions himself last year and dropped them, just flat dropped them. So hopefully Logan Wilson will step up. I won't say step up, but just improve upon what he did last year.
Yeah, I think Logan Wilson will have a better year this year. He had a good year last year, but I think he's going to kind of develop into the role as the main middle linebacker on the team, or the central linebacker. So I think Wilson will have a good year. I expect a little more out of Pratt this year. He played fine, but hoping that he can play better than he was.
Exactly. And Blake, you are frozen, brother. Well, I have to let Blake. Hopefully, Blake, you try to come back on and get that fixed, and we can continue the conversation. Let's get to the orange arrow here. You said, but I don't think they will move them. I think Trey will line up on the right side. Sheeta Bay will line up on the left side, and Marcus will line up some on the first in OTAs. We will find out for sure. Let's see, Blake, you get back, and you look like you're still frozen. Yep, he's gone. Hopefully Blake, if you can jump back on. If you can't, I appreciate you giving me the time to come on the show. And Orange, you think they're set at linebacker? I'm not. I think they're starting wise, they're set. I'm more worried about the backups, because that's one thing I like about the secondary is with getting Eli Apple, getting Allen. Those are backup guys. They're what we didn't have last year, and I know Pratt's there, and Bradley, Marcus Bailey is going to be there. So I hope they're okay. I would just like at least somebody else, just in case you know, they, just in case they get injured, the worst thing happens, because the Bengals seem like they always get injured. It always happens. I don't know, but we'll see what's going on. Like I said, I tried something new today. I hope you guys liked the screen sharing. I'm going to try to do more of that as I figure out more and more what I can do on the show here. But I hope you guys like that. Let's see here. We got Rabbit. Having no backups is what killed it. Yeah, exactly. That you're right. That's what killed us last year. It was, we're grabbing guys off the streets. So that's why I think that's where Eli Apple and Allen were huge. And honestly, across the defensive line, we're pretty deep there. I don't know, a lot of them are rookies, but we're pretty deep. So I'm not really worried about that. Secondary, we're pretty deep. It's just a linebacking core. That's the one that I'm a little worried of. I like to be a little deeper at. That's it. But I really do think that Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis-Gaither are going to have awesome years, especially Logan Wilson. I just really like that kid. I like his football IQ. I like his nose for the ball. He was in the right place at the right time a lot for a rookie. So those are things that are good. Obviously, I'm not saying anything that's breaking the ceiling here, but it's a good platform for him to move to the second year at. He's already got this part done. Now you got to prove upon it. Same thing with Davis-Gaither. I think he had a good year. Hopefully his hands get a little better, because I know there's at least 2 interceptions he could have had last year that he just flat dropped. So I'm hoping he gets a little better at that. Anyway, it's about 6:19. Like I said, it's summertime. There's not as many. Well, right now there's no sports going on because All-Star break is here. The Reds are back at it Friday. I can't wait for them to start. It's going to be an absolute blast. Big series coming up. They got to win 2 out of 3 at least. Hopefully sweep them. And if they sweep them, maybe me and Arrow will be shotgunning the beer. If they sweep the series, we'll see. But I want to thank the Facebook groups that let me live stream. I appreciate every single one of them. They are Houday Nation, Cincinnati Bengals, The Jungle, Bengals Nation, Bengals Houday Nation, Cincinnati Reds riding third, heading for home, Bearcat Country, Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar. You can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Twitter handle is Jeff A. at Jeff A. Trennepohl. That's TRENNEPOHL. I'm also on TikTok. You can follow me at Iceman90. I'll be pulling the sound off later on today and putting it up on the podcast. You can find it on Spotify, BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, I think, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. You guys can listen to it, download it, rate it, like it, review it, subscribe to it, all the above. Speaking of subscriptions, YouTubers, you guys are awesome. My original people here, my YouTube channel subscription is up to 1,243. That is awesome. Let's keep it rolling. I appreciate every single one of you guys. As like I said, you guys take time to talk to me on the show, watch the show. It's awesome. Okay, got 2 more comments here from Red, but then we get the heck on out of here. All right, let's see. Seriously, I think with everything we've done so far, we can go get 10 wins, mostly at home. Rabbit, I got us going 11-5 or 11-6. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think we got a really good shot. It just depends on the defense. And he said shotgun with me too. Sounds good, man. We have just one big shotgun beer party after the Reds sweep. So hopefully the Reds will sweep. We'll find out what's going on. And other than that, as my man, who is the co-host of the show, well, I don't know. Maybe he's not the co-host anymore. He never comes on anymore. Man, just kick him off. Totally kidding. Not kicking off Jeremy D. Jeremy D's Nuts Dimebag Dean would say, remember one thing and one thing only. And that is, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, so act like it. Usually I say let's go Reds or let's go Bengals, but there's no games on tonight, so go watch a movie. You can watch the ESPYs, I guess, if you want. I'm not. Probably going to hang out and watch some TV shows or something. Or maybe watch some old sports shows. I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!